So we're out here today and we're really fishing. These largemouth are keying in on hard spots amongst the weeds in these transitional areas. Here's one right here. We've kind of went around and graphed quite a few areas, and we're on our way back to fish some of them. So you can see here, it's going from mud to sand. There's a nice rock line. And that's just, we kind of just, you know, we went around and found quite a few of these spots. These fish are just keying in on this stuff. And they, you know, they're really just kind of laying on bottom, relating to that hard bottom stuff. So dragging slow tubes, that's what we're doing today, dragging a tube. A bottom presentation is definitely the ticket today on these transitions, and these spots are really tough to locate without using side imaging or down imaging or any of that. It's just, you're not gonna be able to find them and be able to make the accurate cast that you need to, because you can see there how it's just a very small area you can cast in. I mean, and that's, you gotta be precise with your casts, and it's impossible without electronics, in my opinion. There we go. Oh, feels like a nice one. Okay, so there's some fish. There's at least one fish up here sitting on these, on this gravel sand transition patch up in the weeds. Nice one. Cool. Nice. He choked it. Absolutely smoked that thing. Just dragging a tube along these sand gravel patches, but doing it a little bit differently. Instead of using a traditional tube jig, fishing it with a football head inside there. We'll get that chunky little guy back. Nice fish. But so I like to fish a tube on a football head. You can kind of see how it winds out up there. Just gives that tube a little bit different profile. And then it also, I think it's a little bit more snag free. That football head really rolls over rocks and goes through a lot of different cover. Definitely not weedless, but if you're fishing hard bottom stuff, it's kind of tough to beat that. And then also I like to fish it pretty heavy too. This is a 1/2 ounce particularly. I'll fish it 1/2 ounce to 3/4, even sometimes up to 1 ounce when I'm fishing real deep water. But it's just it's a different way to fish it, you know, instead of just using a round ball jig or traditional skinny tube jig. It's just a little different, gives it a little bit different shape, a little bit different look down there for those fish. So really the way I fish this, you know, I'm using a heavier jig, you know, 12, I like 12-pound mono. Usually like a 7 foot to 7.3-ish, right in that range. Medium heavy rod with a faster tip. I like to be able to feel everything down there, and I'm just dragging it real slow, just keeping that jig in contact with the bottom, and I can feel every little rock and everything I'm dragging it over, whether I'm on a clump of something, I need to pop it off of there or whatever. There we go. Oh yeah, okay. Feels like a nicer one. Good job, nice. He's jumping. Oh, flip him. Boom, sweet. Man, they just are smoking the tube. Dragging along bottom. I mean, when they eat it like that, you know they want it. That's for sure. Cool. Fun stuff. Nice. They're just loving it. Using that medium heavy rod, fast action. Just dragging tubes. Personally, I don't think you can really go too heavy, just because the bigger you go, the more oddball of a shape you're gonna create with that tube. I like to fish, you know, 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce is probably my favorite. I have fished up to 1 ounce, but that seems like a little excessive, but 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce is usually pretty good. We're fishing these hard spots today, dragging this tube along, and I like to position myself using spot lock. It's pretty nice being carefree. You know, we got a little bit of wind today, so pointing the nose into the wind and positioning myself away from these hard spots, and then just hitting spot lock and letting that do all the work, and I can kind of focus on making my real precise casts into these hard spots, because you really do, you have a specific line you got to cast, and if you don't hit it, you're getting hung up in the weeds. So not having to worry about boat control and just utilizing spot lock is pretty nice. Oh, got him. There we go. This up on top of that flat still. Nice. Dragging tubes. Boom. Not a bad little fish. Football head tubes. It's the way to go. Different shape. Using spot lock. Positioning right up on those hard spots up in those weeds and making real accurate casts. Hard to beat. Get him back.